Weekend. Thank you, Pastor Dale, for the opportunity to share God's word with our faith family. So we've been involved in a series entitled Hallowed Be Your Name. And so we've been talking about the names of God. And we want to study the names of God because his names reveal to us his character and his nature. And as we learn his character and learn his nature, it helps us to relate to God better. And so in this series, we've been talking about the compound names of God. 2 weeks ago, Pastor Dale started off our series with teaching us about Jehovah Jireh, the Lord is my provider. And last week, Jessica taught us about Jehovah Rapha, the Lord is my healer. So today, we're going to talk about God's name, Jehovah Nissi, which means the Lord is my banner. And this name, it refers to the fact that God's the one that grants us victory in our lives. And so we're going to look at a story in Exodus chapter 17 where Moses discovers from the Lord that this is his name. And really God reveals this name to us as well. So Exodus chapter 17, beginning at verse 8. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands." So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and one on the other, so that his hands remained steady until sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven." Moses built an altar and called it, "The Lord is my banner." He said, "Because hands were lifted up against the throne of the Lord will be at war against the Amalekites from generation to generation." And so from this story, we're going to talk about three things that will really help us to understand and to relate to God as Jehovah Nissi, the Lord who is my banner, the Lord who gives me great victory. Point number one, spiritual battles are a part of life. Spiritual battles are a part of life. Exodus 17, verse 8. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. So the context to this story is the Israelites had recently been set free from Egyptian captivity. So God's leading them to Mount Sinai for him to establish them as a nation, to give them the law. And so as they're making their way, the